All right, world. How y'all doing? Welcome to the Project Mirror Podcast, episode 5. As promised, we have this week's topic is womanhood from a woman's perspective. And we have a woman on the show today, Mrs. Stephanie Wilson. We have on the show today. You clap it up. Steph joining us on the show today to give us, last week we talked about womanhood from a man's perspective, Chris and I. And Chris chose to be off camera today. We tried to argue with him before the show, tell him to get on camera. Chris was like, I'm going to let Steph get the shine today. So, but you'll hear him chiming in. Dog says, everybody, that he's not going to say anything. We'll see how long that lasts. We'll see how long that lasts before we get him reeled in. And we also have Michelle in the background today, who is being a little camera shy as well, but we'll see how long she lasts without saying anything. But last week we talked about womanhood from a man's perspective, and Chris and I and Dog, we chimed in on what we think women need from men, and what they need from themselves for support, growth, things of that nature. So we're going to get it today from Stephanie and her perspective on what women need. So, and her perspective. From your perspective, Steph, right now, with the new millennial woman, and to take it a step further, the new millennial African-American Black woman in today's culture, today's society, what do you need from us? Let's start there. From men, what are we lacking? What areas are we lacking in?
Well, I'm just gonna say, I know we've been holding it down for a while, like taking care of everybody, take care of the family, taking care of finances, being the head of the family pretty much. So we want somebody that's going to help support us, so we don't have to carry the burden. I know, I'm a single mom, so my son is 22 years old, and he goes to college, and his father is involved. However, he lives in North Carolina, so for most of his life, I've been, the person that supports him, takes care of my household and everything. So it'd be nice to have a little support, from carrying everything by yourself, being the strong person, strong Black woman, right? Always taking care of everything and nothing bothers her. She doesn't need, anybody to help her do anything, right? Because she can do it all. Be nice to have a little support, back up a little, and have somebody else help support.
So I mean, support is huge. I look at it from that perspective. I also look at it from the perspective of sometimes when you step in and try to support the new millennial woman, they push you back and they say to you, I got it. I can do it myself. I don't need your help. So it pushes men into a position to where we're knocked out of our role in the home and in the family, because you have the new millennial woman that is saying, I'm super independent and I don't need you. So it's like, well, where do I fit in?
True. That's true. I mean, but think about it. We've gotten our educations, right? We've worked while we're getting our education. We're supporting our children. We're helping our parents, right? Who are at a certain age now where, they're retiring and they may need, support in that way too. So, I know it's a lot. It's hard, especially, you build that up. Like, I really don't need you because I can really take care of it myself. However, in reality, we do need somebody to help support us. We need somebody to, say it's okay. You don't have to be that strong woman 24 hours a day. Let me take care of you for a minute, It may be hard for us to say that, but we all need it.
Yeah.
Well, if you're being honest,
yeah,
right?
I think so. No, go ahead, Chris.
Like he said, support is big. So do you need financial support, emotional support? Because some women, they make their own money and they let it be known.
Right.
And and we said it on the last show. Some men have a problem with a woman making more money than them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what aspect of your life do you need the most support? Financial,
that's
physical,
gonna
mental?
depend on the woman, right? It's gonna depend on the woman. Like, right, right now I think I'm good. But I need the emotional support right now. Right. So, but other people may be in different, parts of their life where they may need that financial support or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And what I hear you saying is that you just need support in raising your young man, because his dad is in North Carolina, and you were raising him from a woman's perspective, but you just don't have it to raise him from a man's perspective, and you're missing that support.
Yeah. I've had to be, mommy and daddy. I don't know how to be a man. I can't teach my son how to be a man. His father, is there to help him.
I want to say something.
Do it.
Here we go. We ain't even 5 minutes in. We're not even 5 minutes in. We 6 minutes in.
But it's hard when his father's in North Carolina. He visits often. My son has never gone to North Carolina. He's always come here. And he's a what do you call it?
YouTuber?
FaceTime father. No, he's a FaceTime father.
FaceTime father.
Like he discussed stuff on FaceTime. It's not the same.
Yeah.
But the burden of being everything to everybody.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a little support to help get you through.
Yeah.
That's all.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
All right. You know what? I want to commend you for saying what you just said, because there's a lot of women. I want to teach them how to be a man. All that kind of stuff. They always saying that, but it's very shocking right now to hear a woman say that she can't teach her son how to be a man.
How can a woman teach a man? How can a woman teach their son to be a man?
You got some alpha females out there.
That still don't make you a man, and you've never been in that position. You've never been in that position to know what it's like to walk down the street as a black man. Like, I can't tell you that.
Because it's hard as hell.
It is.
Right.
So
yes, it is.
Nature, what I always say is nature always wins. I always say that. So even though in our minds we believe that we can stand in a certain position, you'll find out what you need in life. So so from my perspective, to bring it from the beginning to where we are now, men have treated women wrong for years. We've gotten it wrong. I do believe that a man should be, a woman is his queen. So you're adjacent to the king, but there's a leadership role that a man plays within the household and in the family as protector and provider. Over the years, though, we've taken that role and we've abused women with it, whether it be verbally, physically. Women's rights were lacking when Black people got their rights in America. Women as a whole still didn't have their rights to vote and things of that nature. So we are now in this generation of women that are saying, I'm tired of this. Just like Black people are saying to, certain aspects of the white culture and institutionalized racism, that we're tired. I'm sick and tired of this stuff that's going on. So now we're speaking out Black Lives Matter movements and things of that nature. So from a woman's perspective, you have these things going on because I feel that women are just tired of men treating them a certain way, not having, equal rights and things of that nature. And you went off into this era. We're in this era of the independent woman, but you'll find out that you still need a man. I need a man for something. Am I wrong?
Oh, definitely. I mean, like I said, you can't be the strong Black woman 24 hours a day, every day. You can't. You can have it all, but you can't do it all. I don't think.
True.
I think you need.
We don't have tribes no more to teach people.
Right.
That's a good
We
word.
have tribes, and the tribe
Exactly.
showed you how to be a man. It showed you how to be a woman, how to do X, Y, Z. and we don't have tribes no more.
Yeah. What's another word for tribe though nowadays?
Village.
Village,
Yeah.
community.
Takes a village to right.
You know,
That's
the
the
child.
whole thing.
Exactly.
So we don't even have that anymore, you know, because everybody is trying to, as the culture say, get money.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't cut you off. You know what? What makes a real woman is a woman that she don't have to me, this is just my thoughts. She don't have to wear revealing clothing just to get a man. You know, you can dress up decent and be sexy at the same time. You know, so I think a lot of the men in society is brainwashed with how the way they think a woman should look. That's just my theory, and that's why a lot of ladies be treated right. I see L smiling there. I'm saying something wrong.
Nah. I'm just thinking about it from a deeper perspective, and I was going to piggyback. I was going to give Steph the floor, but I was going to piggyback and say that's, you know, twofold as well. You know, women been dressing a certain way for years, and I think in an advanced culture of men, we should learn also not to objectify a woman and kind of look at them from the neck up at certain points in time and not the neck down. You know what I mean? At the same time, you do have a lot of women out there that are looking for certain attention by the way that they dress in a provocative manner. And this is why, you know, in certain Muslim religious cultures, they rock 3/4 of cloth and they don't show off themselves because biblically it says, thou shalt not tempt, you know, the eye of a man. So what you're doing is nature always wins again. I could be walking around not thinking about sex at all. The moment I see boobies, you know what I mean? The moment I see boobies, then my mind goes Saint elsewhere. Now, we both have a responsibility to play in that. The woman that's making her boobies jiggle and me, you know, in my brain. But at that moment, as a civilized man, I have to catch myself and say, let me not objectify this woman, because then that dictates my character. If I go chasing those boobies around, that dictates my character. I can't help my first instinct, but afterward I can, you know what I mean?
But that woman is probably doing that for a reason, right? Like she's got some type of trauma in her life, right?
I like
she
that.
needs
I
to,
like that.
you know, and that would mean peeling off the layers and figuring that out, right?
She got to be on the show again.
Yeah.
I'm just,
but a lot of women have been taught you gotta use
right.
what you got to get what you want.
Exactly.
Prostitution is the oldest
the
profession.
first profession, right?
But you know what? There's a lot of ladies out there, and I personally know this because I've dealt with them in my past. That's very low self-esteem, you know. And us men, we don't help it. We add to it. Yeah. Just listen to the music. You know, us being DJs, just listen to the music. I refuse to play music that condemns women. But if somebody's paying you,
doesn't every song? I mean there's a bee and a hoe and a
it is.
Well,
it is. And a lot of the songs, you know, we get the clean version. Like sometimes you listen.
The clean version sound like the dirty version.
You don't even know until you know go on satellite. You listen to the song. I didn't even know that's, you know, those were the lyrics.
So maybe not every song. And I like to thank Leslie Santiago for joining in on the show today. Never saw her up here before, but thank you for commenting. You guys go up there and share your comments, and we'll respond back to them. I know a couple people hit me up last night, a little passionate about the topic this morning. So, you know, go ahead and chime in. But I want to say this, Steph, is it all music or just our genre of music? Because I don't turn on songs from certain other cultures of music besides hip hop, and they're calling their women bees. They're calling their other people, you know, crackers, the C word. They don't do that. We do it, but I don't hear it in other aspects of music. So are we self-destructive?
I mean, think about, we're probably going on different topics.
No,
right?
that's how it goes.
Listen, if we're talking hip hop and just say hip hop, right? The N word is on, you know, every other sentence, right? And it's acceptable to everybody in the Black culture, right? But if a white person singing along says that word, the N word, we have a problem,
Yeah,
right?
like I always say, if me and you are fighting in our yard and we're family, that doesn't give our neighbor the right to come over
I
To
agree.
be
and
always-
join in the fight.
Right.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
Yes,
That's
yes.
our beef.
Sure
That's our
indeed.
culture. That's our thing.
Sure
So
indeed.
you know, I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah.
derogatory. We flipped it to make it cool. Richard Pryor and them back in the days, and probably
That's
before
what they
that.
say.
But
I don't see that. But
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
but Mom was just saying, a lot of times we are self-destructive, and I think we don't do enough to uplift each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Women can't get along with women. The men can't get along with the men. We just as worse as the women. You know, and it happens because we've been taught that
it's cultural,
everything's
right?
cutthroat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yo, get that money. I don't care how you get it, son. Just
Mhm.
you know, and it's
So,
sad.
but
It's
why
like-
are we not like those other cultures, like the Hispanic cultures? One person will buy a house,
And they'll share
and
with their
10 of them
family.
will share that
Yeah.
house, and they all will build their wealth,
Mhm.
and then
Well-
go and get another house. You know, like
Well, the thing
we're
is-
like crabs in a bucket,
well,
pulling
the thing
each other down.
is we have slave mentalities. I'm not gonna say all of us, but the majority of us have that. You know, and a lot of us, we don't want to. Like, I'm gonna give you a prime example. This happened to me. All right, this recently just happened. There was a brother who wanted me to DJ, and being that I know the brother, I said, well, you know, man, how much is it gonna? You know, how long is the hours? He said, well, it's gonna be like 2 hours. I said, you know what, man, this is off the records. Give me $1.50. He came back at me with $100. I said, nah, I can't do that. So the thing is what he think I'm gonna get rich off his $150? You know, and that's the mentality that we have towards one another. We don't want to see one another shine.
Mhm. The
You
tribe is messed up. So as you
Mhm.
guys were stating, our culture is messed up, which is one of the reasons why Chris and I had this show to start talking about some of these things that people are afraid to talk about. Like you said, when we're arguing in our backyard, it doesn't give other people the right. Let's close the door on them and have our own discussion and argue amongst ourselves so that we can get our stuff right within our culture. Because how we're fighting as men, as Dog said, you know, us not respecting each other on a financial level, us not respecting each other. I mean, I can't even drive down the street without getting tailgated and somebody looking for attention by they looking at me while I'm looking in the rearview mirror. They want attention. They want to see them. It's like people are dying to show you how ignorant they are.
You know?
But I'm not going there. So so the thing is, when we do that, we don't set a good example for the women in our culture, right? And it falls right back on us in our leadership role in what women are lacking. Like, women want a true king, and brothers get mad when a true king comes around. You want to hold your woman hand close now because you've been bull crapping all year long, and this real man comes along, and now he's a threat to you. All you got to do is get your stuff together. Am I wrong?
But you know what?
Dog.
All right, go ahead.
No. I just wanted Steph to, you know what I mean? I wanted Steph to. Yeah.
Go ahead, Steph.
No, I was just agreeing with you. Like, yes,
But you
we
know
want
what?
a man to step up and.
I'm gonna say
Go ahead.
this. I hope that Steph don't get mad at me.
Oh boy.
Or Michelle don't get mad.
That
at
is
me.
not a good sign to start saying.
But look, I'm gonna say this. You know what? A lot of black women I'm gonna say black and Hispanic women, you know, kick brothers when they down. You know, and I don't care if the ladies get mad at me. You know.
What do you mean by
It
that?
goes both
Because-
ways though. We kick them down too.
But see, look, the thing is if you see, okay, back in the days, I don't know if y'all remember when the ladies had the big door knocker earrings. You know, if you look, Steph, she knows.
Yes.
Now, in order for you to have gotten that girl, you had to buy her some big door knocker earrings and probably a 50-cent soda in the hero or something like that.
That's it.
You know. But see, the thing is that there's no black man or Hispanic man that's gonna be a king out the box. You know,
Mhm.
we're all diamonds in the rough. So if you want your man to be a certain way, you gotta mold your man. Don't look down on your man unless you picking your man up. You know, and it's a lot of ladies that do that, and then they got the jealous girlfriends because they single and you got a man, so they gonna tell you, oh yeah, girl, I seen him over there with Tarika or something like that. You know, they go.
But women mature faster than we do.
They do.
They mature faster.
They definitely do.
And
yes, absolutely.
when you know people, Steph knows people. You know, a man. When is a man gonna be a man? You say, you know, out the box. Some men are kings out the box because they've been brought up the right way. You know, some people got generational kings and queens because they've been taught the right way. You know, it's
absolutely
everybody's definition of a man is different, and everybody's coming in to manhood and womanhood. Their timing is different. You
absolutely. So
everybody's timing is way different.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that's gonna be a whole different podcast and a different topic, because what I want to get into is the kingdom mindset that people have. You know, there are certain subliminal messages that are taught to different cultures that are not taught to us. So we're wondering why we getting disrespected, a lot of microaggressions and stuff like that happens in society. These people 9 times out of 10 don't even understand what they're doing. They're taught subliminally that they're superior. So that's a whole, we're going to get into that kingdom, the kingdom mindset. Yeah, absolutely right, Chris. And I want to say, Leslie said not all Puerto Rican women. and Walt, let's be clear. And Walt said no black people don't want to see other people get ahead. And that's we still live in that crab in a barrel culture and society.
Days, right?
So what do you think about
the light-skinned blacks were inside the house and dark-skinned blacks were outside? You
know what? Here's a saying.
In the field, that's what it's like.
Chris, check your phone.
To this day.
Here's what it is. If you black, stay back. If you light, you all right. If you brown, stick around. I don't know if anybody remember that. But those are stuff that I grew up on. You know what I'm saying? The OGs, they taught me certain things.
We need to learn community. We need to get better, because I know that's generational, like, you know, way back in the day. But we need to get better.
You know what? It all begins with the women. I truly believe it all begins with the women, because you know, my father, he was in our life and everything, but you know, we was also in a situation in the shelter system in New York City. And my mother was a strong woman. She didn't have a car at the time, dragging us on a train, going back and forth to work. She was going to school. She was getting training for her career. She's in the medical field. And you know what? The one day we was in the shelter with beds lined up. My father was a hustler on the street. That one day I seen her cry. I thought that my world was being turned around, because I looked at her as strength. You know, I looked at my father as strength too, but my mother was just someone who I just seen a lot in her. And a lot of these guys out here disrespecting women and doing the things that they doing, you know, I don't think that their moms is showing them how to, you know, of course a woman can't teach a man teach a boy how to be a man, but a woman brings certain important aspects in that situation.
Well, what do you think about that?
Doesn't a son mirror his father? Like how his father treats his mother, right? That's what he's learning, how to treat his woman.
I believe it's
dog. Hold on one second. I'm sorry, dog.
Okay, that's okay.
I want Steph to, you know what I mean? Steph to get her perspective out. This is womanhood from a woman's perspective, though.
Right. I'm saying that is how the boy learns from his father figures, right? How his grandfather treats his grandmother. Father treats the mother. You know, uncle treats the aunts or what have you. So I'm just saying that.
But that's how, Men learn.
You learn.
From-
So if
Yeah.
if your daddy ain't doing what he needs to do, what makes you think he's gonna do
Absolutely.
what he needs to do for his woman?
And also men within the tribe, period, because it takes a village to raise a child.
Right.
I know personally, I can be in a grocery store and I'm a father, because if I see a young kid that's in need of my guidance, I'm going to guide that young kid, male or female, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna do, and that's what I dedicate my life to. So I'm a dad 24/7, wherever I go, to a community of children. And I think men do need to step up and recognize that people need you and are watching you, not only your own children within the home, but children within a society, period. So to get into some of the comments, Tasha said that a woman of valor will pick up her man and support her man. What do you think about that?
I think we touched on this 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
How I said, yes, I would love to be able to help a man, but I don't want to teach him how to do things he should know at this age.
Mhm.
You're 50 years
True.
old, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
we all go through trials and tribulations. You might lose a job and have to start over again, and all that. But I mean,
you just want a man to try.
Yeah, try, and
That's all you can.
we all support each other, right? Like you lose, we're together. You lose your job, I'm gonna take up the slack until you get your job, but
True. So
not
now,
for ever.
So from your perspective now, do you
Mhm.
find it hard for a woman to have a decent conversation with a man?
Good question.
First of all, yes, right. And also we have problems with that too, being honest and being vulnerable and
I like
putting that out there too. Like it's but that comes with being in a relationship and putting yourself out there and really being honest, right? Because we come on a date, right? Our first date, we got our little weave in, we got our little eyelashes and all that. You know what I'm saying? With our little all coming, but not being our authentic self, right? Like, and the same with the guy. Like you come in and you're not saying your credit score is garbage, right? You're not saying any of that up front until you peel the layers. Yeah. You want to
So
support?
So Lamar, why do you think it's so hard for us to be honest with the opposite sex these days?
Well, first of all, we have self-esteem issues, and we fear being judged. You know what I mean?
Social media.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Oh,
yes,
you give me a moment there. I'm glad you said that. I want to break down social media for a second, guys, and then we're gonna go into question number 2 for Steph. But we have a lot of self-esteem issues within ourselves, so we fear being judged by other people. So we put on this show in this front. We don't want them to know things, and then there's trust issues. I don't necessarily trust a person. Speaking from a man's perspective, don't necessarily trust a person with my innermost thoughts, my feelings, or my personal business and things of that nature. Because I could be going through, and then in the dating game, you could be dating. You could have 1 date, 2 dates, 3 dates with somebody a month, and then they're out of your life, and then they have all your business.
True.
So it's like you have to really watch what you give a person at a time. Like they should earn the right to know everything about you, but that's 2 different perspectives. And from the social media thing, right, and a lack of self-esteem coming from social media. I don't know if you guys, a lot of people out there have heard of Abraham Maslow and his hierarchy of needs, right? And Abraham Maslow, I believe, was a psychologist, and he said that every human being has 5 needs within a pyramid, right? And all of them are very important, and you can't master number 2 or number 3 without getting to the one before it, 4 or 5. So he said they're all basic needs. It's a sliding scale that we go through all day long. You know what I mean? Every day. And the first one is your physiological needs. That's when you wake up in the morning, you need to nourish your body. You need to shower. You need to, do things of that nature. Sex is actually in there. They have it in there as it is a physiological need. The next need after you do that is your safety need. So you want to feel safe after you nourish your body and things of that nature within your environment. And then the third one is belonging. So once you feel the need, you're like, I'm gonna step outside my house today. You want to feel like you belong. You don't want paparazzi outside with cameras or people talking about you, opening up their window. Hey, Chris, I hate you, man, blah, blah, blah. Because the fourth need is your self-esteem need, right?
True.
So if people are talking about you, you don't feel safe within your society, then your esteem is low. The fifth need at the top, which is the final need, is your self-actualization. Once you reach a certain level of self-worth and self-esteem, you realize your fullest potentials. Then you want to go get a job. You want to go to school. You want to do certain things because your self-actualization is hit. Now, psychologists know this. And what they do on these social media platforms, it teeter-totters on your self-esteem. That's what happens.
Mhm.
So now all of your likes are coming from somebody else. It used
Some
to be
stranger.
from strangers. You're
Yeah.
allowing those people to dictate how
Mhm.
you feel about yourself.
Right.
When you turn it off and do your proper work to build your character up, then you will have that proper self-esteem. Like when you asked me, why as men do we not represent ourselves in truth when we meet a woman? It's because our esteem is low within ourselves. We haven't done the proper work to make sure that we are good, and we don't really necessarily, it's nice to get likes from other people
You
and,
need
and
that
compliments and be validated by other people, but you shouldn't make it your life. And
True.
people have made it their life, and then they're so fragile when they come step from behind that screen.
True.
That when they're poked at, now we have a society of emotional people.
True. I agree.
That's
I agree.
deep.
Everybody's in the smoke screen. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if that person doesn't like
Mhm.
my photo or whatever, and then other people with their relationships, they're putting their relationships out there as fake, you know, everything happy go lucky. Next thing you know, they're divorcing or they're not together, you know.
Everybody's
Yeah.
happy on
And,
social media.
and you think that's how a relationship is supposed to be, right? No.
Nah, it's not.
No.
So part two, and Leslie, I hope I answered your question. She said, why is that we can be honest, but not you guys? Like, for real. So hope I was.
both need to be more honest. Sorry.
You know, you meet each other's representative when you first meet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Chris Rock said that.
Yeah, very
you
true.
need to represent.
Absolutely.
You know,
Very true.
everybody's not going to accept your truth.
Absolutely not.
So
Mhm.
I think
Everybody
first and
doesn't
foremost,
deserve
you have
to
to
know.
be
Mhm.
true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You have to
True
be
indeed.
true to yourself. If you don't want a married man, don't go after him. You know what I'm saying?
Like
So
you said, you got to do your work.
You
yeah,
have to
Right?
do your work.
Do your
you
work.
have to do your work.
Have to-
Yeah.
it's the most important work you can do is that self-work. Even if you don't find yourself accomplishing anything, because a lot of these accomplishments are smoke and mirrors for
Yeah.
low self-esteem anyway. People, I did this, I did that. It's because on the inside, you needed to, you're not validated.
Right.
So you need
it
degrees
some kind
and all
way.
of that stuff.
Right.
You know, not to say that degrees are bad. I'm chasing mine myself, but you have that self-work that you wake up every morning and whatever you need to get there, whether that be spirituality, whether that be physical health, whether that be cognitive health, emotional health, the things that need to get you there, that's the most important work that we have to do. So part two to the question, Steph, I asked before, what do you guys need from us? Now, what do you think is lacking overall from a holistic standpoint within womanhood from women? What can women be doing better nowadays?
Oh God.
I'm gonna put you on the spot like that, so
that's
that
a
they
good one.
yeah.
I mean, I think the first thing we were talking about is, I think, being more vulnerable. Because,
Mhm.
like I said, we're so strong. We do everything. We don't need y'all. So we probably got to step back a little bit and be honest and say
True,
we
indeed.
kind of do. We need, we need you.
True.
That's one of my favorite songs from Jill Scott. I don't know if y'all know. It's called "We Need You."
Oh, okay.
I think it's called "We Need," but she's saying that in there. She was like, she starts off like, "I can kill the spider above my bed. I could do certain
yeah,
things, but I
that's
can't
true.
teach my boy how to be a man." And that song was, I think I teared up on that song.
Right.
First time I heard
real,
it.
right?
It's real.
Mhm.
She said, I need you. We need you.
Right. Just going back to that saying, we definitely need men to help us coexist. You know, we need to coexist together.
Mhm.
We definitely need that. support in many ways.
I
think.
Yeah, I totally agree. Nature always wins.
Yeah, I'm
Nature
saying,
always wins.
and we, like I said, we need to be a little more vulnerable and say that, be honest about it, and not be fearful that we're not going to be, this queen anymore because, we can't do everything on our own.
So do you think that queendom starts within yourself? So even if you are rejected by a man, you should have enough self-esteem to be able to stand and say, you know what, either this was a mistake or
and be strong enough to, build yourself back up to move on to the next one and give the opportunity to the next person, right? That's difficult too, to take those shots, like then you think I'm not good enough. What was wrong with me, right? Maybe there's nothing wrong with you. That just wasn't the right person.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't do well with rejection.
Right?
Yeah, to be
who's gonna do good with rejection? Who's gonna be like, oh, okay?
A strong person. Well, we had talked about this on another podcast where we had talked about a man getting shot down from a woman, and if you're a strong person, you can say, all right, thank you. You know what I mean? Have a great day. You know what I mean? She may not respond to you when you say, hello, how are you doing, and things of that nature.
Failure is a part of success.
Exactly. So a strong man who's strong within himself. Exactly. You're not going to well, forget you then. You ain't, you know what I mean? You must be stuck up.
Which happens,
yeah. But that's from a man who is weak within himself.
True, indeed.
From my perspective.
But it would take time, right? Wouldn't it take time to get to that point where you can really say, okay, let's move on to that. Okay, I understand what you're saying. Sorry, move on to the next, right? That's not something that's gonna automatically happen, right?
Yeah.
I think we got away from understanding each other.
True.
And we just tolerate. You know what I'm saying?
But what happened? What happened?
True.
The culture. You know what I'm saying? The breakdown in communication, the breakdown in the family. A lot of stuff happened. And
that's definitely true.
And some men feel if they can't and get none on the first date, then you ain't for them. You know what I'm saying? It's
women too.
Building a relationship.
Yeah.
Women too.
I guess so. The thing I keep thinking is like, I'm thinking about my age right now. Like, right, I went through all of this in my 20s, right? With the clubbing and hanging out, trying to meet, guys that way and stuff. And now I'm 50. I just turned 52. So
black don't crack, y'all.
You don't look. Don't look that.
It's different now. Like I don't have time for all of that. Let me try to teach you how to carry the one and all that other stuff. Shouldn't we all be at a place where we're like, okay, I'm tired of, this, that, and the other. Let's get together. Right. I'm like this age. At this age is different, right?
Like
I don't have time for that.
Like I always say, growing old is mandatory, growing up is optional.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
When are you going to grow up? When are you going to,
At 52, you should not be trying to go to the clubs, the bars without me.
It's where you find your fulfillment at. We all find our fulfillment in different places. Some find it in the club. Some find it at church now. Some find it at
library.
That's what they're coming to America. Church, a library, a good clean one. But anyway, dog.
I just think we need to get back to having a conversation. And I think, there's nothing wrong with having a conversation.
True.
That's why, I couldn't understand a lot of Christians don't want to sit down with the atheists to have a conversation. See where they're coming from. You might, I ain't gonna say persuade them, you might give them something to think about, in the future. It's a conversation. It's not a argument. It's just talking, and we got away from that,
But
absolutely.
Of really caring about how people feel.
That's just like what I said on the other show. The most sexiest thing about a woman is a woman that you can talk to. Not what she's wearing, or if she's got a weave on her head, or I don't mean to say it like that, but if you can have a conversation with her, that is you could just sit down. Well, you know, baby, I went to McDonald's and bought a Big Mac, and then she'll do, That's sexy about a woman.
Yeah,
So that's being
Absolutely.
vulnerable too,
Anything.
right? That's being vulnerable.
Yeah. Said fat boy.
What did you say?
Walter Davis said fat boys are in. I'm confident. Listen, fat guys been in.
That's what I was
Been in. Big guys been in, man. Sexy is, I lost a lot of weight, and I had people tell me, you don't look the same. You don't look as good. It's all about what a person is looking for. Like Chris said, like different strokes for different folks. At the end of the day, what's sexy to one person may not be sexy to the next person, and vice versa. So I think confidence, like Walt said, is the key thing. How confident you are in yourself. I think that is attractive to people. And Derek Ray said, I think rejection can be good for some people.
True.
What's your perspective on that?
Well, I guess it could make you,
I agree on that.
I don't know, make you want to work harder at,
Sometimes it gets you focused.
working harder on your.
It put things into
game.
perspective for you.
Knock you off your high horse a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, like, oh, okay.
Make you think inward, like, okay, so let me get myself right. So I can be ready for the,
Some
the next
people,
one.
some people looking into the window can see what's going on in that house, but the people that's actually in the house can't see what's going on. So rejection is definitely a good thing.
Yeah, and sometimes you need a different perspective on yourself.
True.
True
indeed.
You got to have people around you that can scrutinize you. That's how we grow.
Be willing to
You
take it,
become
right,
strengthened.
and learn from it.
Yeah.
And I think from we're gonna have this conversation. I think from going back to 2 weeks ago, from a man, we got to stop thinking women are beneath us. I think a lot of us think women are beneath us. And that's not the
True indeed.
the truth at all these days.
No.
A lot of women are doing it for themselves. Like Steph just said, I want somebody to help me. I want somebody to be there
Grow,
for me.
Grow with you,
build off
or
each other,
even like.
Yeah.
It could be equal grounds, right? It could be equal ground. It doesn't have to be, I'm up here, you're down here, and vice versa.
No, it's adjacent.
Yeah.
A queen
Right.
sits, as I said in the beginning of the show, a queen sits adjacent to the king. We are not, and let me say this to all men out there. There is no such thing as a great man without a good woman.
True
And a woman could be good
and
and make us great. A woman could be bad and make us good. At the end of the day, we need woman. We come from a woman. If you're going to study anything about yourself and manhood, you have to study the woman, and particularly the Black woman from Kemet. Whether it's your diet or whatever, we have to realize what our mothers ate, because that was nutrients for us when we were in the womb. So you have to study a woman for everything. A woman is so powerful and strong. To me, men, if I have to pick a race to say which one is weakest, men would be the weaker race, because we can't handle the emotions that a woman can. We can't bear children and go through that pain. We can't bear a cold. We acting like little babies, like, I'm sick. Can you come, blah, 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 this, that, and the third, and take care of us. And
would die if men were
exactly. So from from an emotional standpoint, women bear a lot. Okay, in this standpoint, a lot of men, I don't know if y'all gonna like this right here, but a woman, we can cheat on a woman 50 million times. And a lot of women out there will take you back. There are people that have been married 40 and 50 years, not because everything was great, but because people rocked out and they were strong and, forgave people for a lot of things. You know what I mean? But a woman cheat on us one time.
It's done.
We out. We can't handle it. We can't handle it. A woman do stuff because we're not as emotionally equipped to handle as a woman. We can do not even cheating, but talking down to a woman as we're growing, like Dog has said, you have to be able to help mold your man. So a woman has more patience than we do. You guys are built that way.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Because you know what? That's just like I'm gonna go a little deep here. I'm looking at L face.
Well, you know, yeah, we
That's just like I'm gonna just say this, and this goes for the bedroom. I'm gonna talk about that one. I don't think it's important for I'm trying to put this a certain way. I don't think it's important for a woman to go down on a man, because I think that if you allowing your woman, first of all, what comes out of there? Waste. So if you allow your woman to do something like that, you don't respect her, and that's just my thing.
Well,
I mean, that's
the
broad
Bible
and
said
deep.
the bedroom
I
is
mean,
undefiled between a woman and man.
Absolutely.
So it's what you guys are accustomed to, or what you guys agree upon. You know what I'm saying? It ain't for everybody.
Yeah, right.
But you know what?
You know, it ain't for everybody.
But then what happens when he have an argument with her? You get me what I'm saying?
Does that work
sometimes-
twofold?
But sometimes
It would happen.
makeup sex is what get people going. They argue just to have sex.
Yeah, but I don't
Some
know,
couples,
man.
you know what I'm saying? Everybody's different
I
when it
just
comes
like-
to that.
I just like the regular way.
Well, that's you.
I mean,
That's
That's you.
you know. But you know,
Listen, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell y'all
need
right
love
now.
just like we need love. You know what I'm saying? They need love just like we need love. So
Absolutely.
it's one of those things where
that is true.
you know, we
I don't know. I just think
That's
it's.
part of
Listen,
communication,
I think that-
right?
Oh, absolutely. I think that if I gave it to my lady the regular way, then the Amazon guy would be getting it. The Amazon delivery guy, somebody gonna be, you know what I mean? If I just give it to her.
You can change your positions and do whatever you want, you know. But I'm just
listen,
saying,
man, if your girl came home and say, "Dog, I want to hang from the ceiling today," you gonna say no?
Yeah.
A woman is like a tea kettle, man. You know, if you get her hot and the right whatever the temperature, anything goes, man.
I mean, I look at it like this, and you know, I ain't gonna try to
And
stop
vice
her,
versa.
but I'm
See,
not
look,
saying that.
Look, he ain't gonna try to.
You better wheel that one
Yeah.
back in.
But you were saying something about communication, Leslie?
No, I was just saying.
I mean,
know,
Leslie, Stephanie.
Stephanie.
I saw. I'm looking at Leslie's comment.
Jackie
Sex
says
goes back to the
communication.
communication part. You know,
Yeah.
that's a really big way of communicating.
Yeah.
You want to read what Jacqueline said?
Jacqueline Roscoe, I'm sorry. Communication is the key that works for both men and women. And Leslie Santiago said the same thing.
Yeah, communication is key, but there are men that won't give it to us. You think that men don't, you know, from a woman's perspective, are men we're not communicating properly these days?
No, definitely not. And like I said, we do the same for us. Like, you know, right? Even I don't know about for married couples or you've been in a long relationship. I mean, communication breaks down. You have to have times that you reconnect, you know, and you know, build it back up again, because if life happens, right? You got that job, you got a promotion you're looking for, you got kids you got to raise, and so you got to take time to reconnect and build that
communicate through
communication
hip
back
hop.
up,
We
right?
put on a hip hop song and
And go at it.
That's how I feel about that. Not nowadays hip hop. So listen, I was driving the other day with my youngest, my 16-year-old daughter. Shout out to Saya. And I had to pull the car over and drop my head in my hands because she said something that blew me away. Now, I'm a mental health counselor, and I've been telling my clients for years now that communication is key within a relationship. And my daughter said that she had got into a debate with her friend group, and they were saying how communication is key. And so she said, "You know me, Dad, thinking outside of the box." I challenged them and I said, "Why do you think communication is key? Because everybody telling you that?" And she said that communication is not the most important aspect of a relationship. She said that what is the word I'm looking for? Comprehension is the most important part of a relationship. That blew my mind right there.
And
So
how old is she?
16
Wow.
years old. But we talk like that. I make sure we keep the conversation deep. And I thought she was like, because I could be communicating to you all day long, but if you're not comprehending what I'm saying, then the communication is lost. That blew me away. So what do you think about that?
That's deep. I mean, Yeah, I guess comprehension within your communication would be the best scenario, right?
So you're right, Saya.
Right. Saya is 16-year-old
Yeah.
and really,
She-
Comprehension,
Tasha
understanding.
Peel says some men don't know how to communicate.
Differently.
And then you know, there's women that's like that too. Because I like back in my days, dating, you know, ladies or like sometimes a woman would be walking to have a crazy look on her face. Well, what's going on, baby? You know what it is.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is. That's why I'm asking you. Well, go sleep in the living room.
But
How you supposed to know?
Yeah.
Look, she's shaking her head because she did that before.
But with men, I do feel as if we don't communicate properly nowadays, and it does cross over to the music. And it's like, does life imitate art or art imitates life? Because nowadays in the music, back in the day, you would tell a woman, slip on your red dress and some of those high heels and some of that sweet perfume. Nowadays it's like, yo, dog, you crazy. Nowadays it's like, yo, I'm coming over, it's 3 a.m. in the morning, I'm gonna slap it, I'm gonna flip it, I'm gonna blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, so the conversation has changed. The communication has changed. What we're telling a woman, like a grown woman, like step in your 20s, that might have sounded great. Oh, he gonna tear it up.
Oh,
You know what I mean? But
now,
as you get
older, you expect a little more. You need a little more,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, indeed.
And you know, hate to keep repeating myself, but you got to be vulnerable enough to say that, you know, to break it down and talk. Like, you know, some people communicate better writing it in a song or a poem or you know what? This one guy, he could only text. Like he couldn't talk. Like we sat down, you know, we go out to dinner or whatever. He can't really have a conversation looking me in my face, but you can tell me, I mean, the world on a text.
And also,
Like,
there's a lot of women.
What is up? No, I'm not about that.
There's a lot of women that's disrespectful too.
Yeah, but we want to keep it on a man's perspective. Like we talked about that last, so we're trying to keep it more on
I'm gonna keep it up there. I just want to say this. Why, when I picked, you know, I'm just talking about back in the days. This ain't something that just happened. I picked this girl up. I met this girl. I was TJing somewhere or whatever. And then she was like, oh, well, you can take me to dinner. So I went and picked her up and everything. And this is when cell phones was just coming out. And we was driving. Well, I was driving. And the whole time I'm driving, she on the phone talking to I don't know who she was talking to. So I drove around the block and dropped her back off. He said, what happened? Finished talking to whoever you was on the phone with. You know, so why do go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
No, I was just reading that.
So what we gonna do? I'm sorry. No, go ahead, Chris.
Jacqueline Roscoe said, we all comprehend from our own frame of reference, childhood/history.
True indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we gonna do is, afterwards, we're gonna start having a show where we can let Dog go. You know what I mean? Have his own show. You know, he gonna need his own show because he need it from a personal perspective. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna give him one of my cards and we can meet afterward, you know, and talk about stuff from his personal perspective of, because this happened to me perspective. And that's gonna be the name of the show, because this happened to me. But what Jacqueline said?
Jacqueline Roscoe said we all comprehend from our own frame of reference, childhood/history. Leslie Santiago but said, but sometimes you guys be acting stupid.
Yeah, and don't know what it is.
You don't know what it is.
Yeah. And what do you think about that, Steph? Because we here to get it from the woman's perspective.
Well, they're kind of speaking, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So do you feel bad telling a man like what you want at this day and age and this stage of your life? Like,
no,
listen,
absolutely not.
Because some women just want, hey, when I call you, you come over. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And it is what it is. But again, as Lamont was alluding to, we get hurt by that. Like, wow, you only want me to come over when,
and that's the problem, Chris. That's the problem, because you know, history, right? You're in your 20s, your 30s, and your 40s, not married, right? Dating, whatever. Been there, done that. I'm at the age where I'm not trying to go through all of that. Let's cut to the chase.
Mhm.
We don't, I'm being very direct. This is what I expect of you. What do you expect of me?
Mhm.
Let's get it all out there, because I don't have a year to spend wasting my time on
Mhm.
somebody that is not, going for the same things that I am. I don't have time. I'm 52. Like,
You don't
Time is
Oh,
short.
You don't look
older.
at
No.
You don't look it at all. I thought
No.
you
I'm
were
just
younger than
saying.
that.
Communication and comprehension.
Right.
Like letting the man know, listen, it is what it is. And even if it is just sex, Chris,
Right.
you
Then
know,
put that out there. Let's
put
be
that out there.
honest.
You know, let's
This is what I want. What do you want?
yeah, older and wiser.
Right.
So,
Don't have the
and
time.
that's a good perspective to get it from, and maybe we'll do that again from a younger woman's perspective
Right.
that's in their 20s and dating and doing a dating game, and then an older woman's perspective, because I know we speak from an older man. I know certain things that I'm just,
Just not.
I'm
do
old.
that,
Like
right?
certain things, you walk back in the day and you see a woman dressed provocatively and she looks beautiful, and that did something for you. That does a lot less for me nowadays. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I want to
different
have conversation with my woman.
Different space.
Yeah, like, yeah.
So Steph, from a woman's perspective, what's your definition of love?
Man, that's hard.
Good question.
Yeah, that's...
Wow. I mean,
on the nose.
love. I think maybe respect. It'll start with a little respect, and right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that could be it. Just respect.
Respect.
Yeah.
So you saying that if a person respects you, they can grow to love you, or they love
I think that's a form of love,
you?
right?
A form.
To respect.
True
Yeah,
indeed.
What
a
is-
form of.
But your definition.
Isn't that
It's-
broad? That's
yeah,
big, right?
It is, but
Love from like a man and a woman, or in a race, or in a relationship. I think it's a lot of things, but I think the basis is going to be respect, right?
True indeed.
So you saying the foundation of love is, you got to respect me.
Right.
Yeah.
True indeed.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
what I think.
That
My
goes
opinion.
a long way
Michelle?
to respect.
Mhm.
Michelle.
From your perspective.
I think from my perspective, you have to not just love them, you have to like them, even good, bad, and in between.
Mhm.
So respect is there; it needs to be there, but you got to also be able to tolerate this person, even when you really like not feeling them. Because I believe you fall in and out of love with people.
so you believe you have to like somebody in order to love them?
No, not necessarily, but I think they can go into it.
Because I think, and I always say this, to me, God isn't into likes and your emotions because they change, like you just said, day to day. God don't like what we do, but he loves us regardless. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I always say, your likes and loves is, I don't have to like you, but I gotta love you from a human
standpoint.
Yeah. But how about, to me, the word that trumps love in any relationship is admiration. Like, you have to admire the person that you're with, because there are a lot of people today who are divorced and still love each other. They can never be together. They grew apart or whatever, whatever brought them to the realm of divorce, or why they split up or whatever have you, and they still have love for one another. But if you admire a person and you like that person, as Michelle was saying, then it's different. You look at that person out your peripheral and say, you know what? That's my man. That's my woman. Without them even knowing, you admire that person. That brings the relationship, to me, to a totally different level, even before you get to the level of love.
All right. Leslie Santiago, I'm tired of communicating and telling you guys what it is. And you still not giving me what I'm asking of you. But yet you communicate with me and tell me what you want from me, and I can do it without no problem.
They may not be capable, Leslie.
Maybe that's not the guy for you or the person for you.
You're telling them what you want, but maybe they're not capable of providing that for you.
Or
speak on it, Steph.
Maybe the person is, maybe she's doing something wrong. It could be a situation that she's doing something wrong.
It could be. There's, not everybody is going to be the leader in communication. You know, when you're sitting down opposite from a person, somebody has to break the ice, you know, and that other person may not be as strong a communicator as that person. So maybe,
exactly.
Leslie.
Because me personally, I'm not a phone person. I'd rather talk to you in person. But there's some people I would. If it's a female, I'm not gonna be, oh yeah, baby, yeah, okay, yeah, be on the phone for like 30 hours and all that. Yeah, I love you too, baby. You know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I want to see you in person.
Yeah.
Well, that's
And
the swipe left, swipe right, you know, type of
Yeah.
You know, let's go to McDonald's or something.
But a relationship is work. And that's any relationship that you have. Like I have a relationship with my cousin that's not an intimate relationship, and it's still work. You know, there was a point in time where I got mad at Chris, didn't talk to him for months. Didn't talk to him for months. Still love him. We working on our relationship. I don't care if that's a coworker, your intimate partner, or whatever.
children,
Yes.
your parents,
Right.
yeah.
So how many times do we get up in the morning and we don't want to go to work, but you have to because you have to put food on the table?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes in a relationship, you may not want to communicate at that time, but guess what? It's your job. It's work. So a lot of us get into our feelings and we say to ourselves, well, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. But you have to. It's the work that needs to be done. So we got to get over that and put in the proper work within that relationship.
If it means something to you, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you feel, I look at it like this: nothing should feel like work, because then it's not fun no more.
There's a balance to that.
You know?
There's a balance to that.
But it's never easy.
Yeah.
Nothing's
It's
easy,
not.
right?
I was married. I was married for 12
Here we
years.
go. We going on. See, once again, this happened to me. We gonna save that dog
I'm
for the
sorry.
dog show. We gonna save that for the
Now,
dog
this
show. We gonna
happened
get
to me
you
in
want
the dog podcast.
you want to read what Tasha said? I like what Tasha said. Let's Steph
I
read
have
that.
my
Oh, you don't-
glasses on.
Oh, okay.
These
Go
are
ahead.
my-
It's very true in my
Wait. What'd she say, Chris?
Tasha said, very true in my relationship is work, but the results
It's worth it.
are
That's
worth
true.
Yeah.
That's true. I agree.
Also, going
If
back
you
to
wanna put the work
communication,
in.
families used to sit down and have dinner at the table.
True.
You know,
And that was your time to communicate,
that was your
right?
time
True.
to talk
True indeed.
what was going on in school.
Your
and
day.
and
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
we don't have that. You know, again, a foundation that has
True
been
indeed.
knocked down out of a lot of families,
Mm-hmm.
and no family
Yeah.
is building on that foundation.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
agree.
absolutely.
So
Leslie-
I can't really get your perspective of how your day was. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or you get the perspective of how my day was.
But isn't that where the work comes in though? To where
Mhm.
now that you're conscious of it, now you got to make
Yeah.
time and
Make
say,
that effort.
that's it. That's all it
That's
takes.
true.
You make a little effort. Leslie said, but that's the thing. If it's me, they won't tell me. And that could be true as well. What do you think about that, Steph? If it is, from a woman's
What
perspective.
did she say?
She said that if it is me, within the communication, tell me.
Maybe.
Let's get
No, I'm saying that's very true, but that comes with you knowing what you need, right? What do I really need from you, and
Yeah.
being able to say, or your partner saying, I can't do that for you. I just I can't do that.
Or maybe the person is busy. Maybe the person worked a couple of jobs. Sometimes it ain't good to always be around somebody that you with, because then the person get tired of you. And I'm not saying I'm not that kind of guy. I don't get tired of nobody, but I'm just saying, sometimes you could be, well, baby, I'll call you tomorrow. And then you go to work, you can't call because you got your job and all that. Then the person get mad at you and, well, why you didn't call me last night? And then
This is for his
So-
show.
Yeah, absolutely.
All for
You
his
gonna-
show.
yeah.
I'm just putting it out.
So-
I'm sorry.
In your past relationships, Steph, do you felt that all your significant others or your partners you could be honest with? Like, you know what I'm saying? Some you felt like, oh, they ain't gonna be able to take this, so you had to sugarcoat it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think in the past I've not been honest. you know, because I already know.
That's honest.
Yeah, I already
That's
know.
honest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I wasn't. I was not forthcoming with what I needed, and you know, and this one particular relationship, I did everything. Like we went out, I would pay, you know, and I didn't put any expectations on him to pay or whatever, because I'm like, I already know you're not making the money that I'm making, so I never even put that expectation on him.
That's a shot to the ego.
That was never not for him. He didn't have a problem with it. But I didn't verbally say to him, you know what, I would appreciate you taking care of the bill sometimes. Even, you know, and we don't have to go to a fancy place or whatever. It could be maybe you want to make me dinner, go to the groceries, you know, but I never verbalized that.
So what I'm hearing is you didn't take the opportunity to help. I guess I'm gonna say raise that man. You don't need to raise a man, but teach. That was a teaching moment for him.
Right. And I wasn't honest about it. And then, you know, years later, we talked about like what went wrong in our relationship. And that came out. And I was like, you blame, you're the reason we're not together. No, it was I contributed to a lot of that. And I wasn't forthcoming. I wasn't, being honest about my needs and wants and stuff. So that's why I am the way I am now. Because I don't want to repeat those mistakes.
Meaning,
I learned from that.
You are the way you are. Meaning what?
Meaning, I'm more forthcoming with what I expect out of a relationship, right? And that can come across very, I don't know. A lot of people don't accept it like that,
Yeah, but that's how you weed them out, though, right?
But yeah,
because the people in your life should be able to accept you for your truth.
Right. It's really hard to get to that point, but I'm so over it that I'm like, this is what I need and respect. Can you provide that? Can you, do that? Or let's work on something else. Yeah. Let's talk about it and work on something
if you don't do it for me, then I'm going to do it for me. But from a naturistic standpoint, how many of us have really sat down and done our work when we go to choose a relationship? To choose a woman or to choose a man, like you would do if you're shopping for cars. You know what I mean? You go shopping for a car, you'll spend weeks and months looking up the prices and the engines, and you'll take somebody with you. A lot of people will take a mechanic with them if they're buying a used car. You don't do that with a counselor, to really get into counseling and say, well, I'm investing in something. Let me get somebody who knows about my investment so I can talk to them. How many of us do that work? Okay, let me put, with a car, you'll say, well, I have this amount of money and this is the car that I'm looking for. But in a relationship, when we go looking for somebody, we don't do that. We don't say, these are my standards. You know what I mean? This is who I am. Let me look for somebody who can meet my standards. And then we start arguing with the other person when they quote unquote fail us. Have they failed us, or did we fail ourselves in not doing our work?
That's true.
Because the moment feels right. You know what I'm saying? When you're in that moment, when you're talking and you haven't been in that moment in a while, okay, this feels good, but it's only a moment. And sometimes we get hung up on moments and not the long haul of a relationship. That moment felt good. This feels, oh man, and then we hold on to that moment and try to make it a relationship, and it was just a moment. You know what I'm saying? That's just like everybody ain't meant to be in your life forever. Yeah. Some people only in there for a spare amount of time. But we keep them there because it either feels good or we think we're going to be less of a person without them there. And, so we, like you said, we don't do our homework, and we jam ourselves up because of our feelings, our emotions in that moment.
Absolutely.
But you know what?
Absolutely.
Real relationships start off as friendships. Like you could be dealing with a girl for a long time, and you could pick her up like at 3:00 every day. And then, drop her off and open the door for her and everything. And then one day she finally asks you, what are we? And then y'all can't figure it out. And then y'all can mold yourself into a true relationship because y'all was friends at first. So you already know what each other want just by the things that y'all was sharing
Well, that's
Wow.
what Derek
Mhm.
Ray kind of said. Why can't we just exist together and figure it out?
Oh,
I
I didn't
won't-
even see that.
I won't tell you what I want. You don't tell me what you want. We'll just figure it out.
Together.
Just figure it out along the way.
That's
Yeah,
how-
I believe in that. You know, study long, study wrong.
That's
Yeah. So you know, I believe in study long, study wrong. And sometimes when you teaching so much, you're really not getting the lesson because you're telling a person what it is from your perspective, and instead of just letting things play out and then dealing with it as it comes. So I definitely
But
agree
you have to
with
have
Derek.
foundation, though. You have to have
True.
something, right,
True
to build
indeed.
upon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I think we all have to have certain standards to bring to the table.
true.
And when you
indeed.
get together, yeah, of course, you're gonna, learn each other's,
Like,
little idiosyncrasies and things.
like for instance, if you're like you could okay. Now I'm staying on subject. I'm just gonna break
Are
this
you?
one
Good,
right here.
good.
There was a girl that I like.
Now
No.
I gotta do it. I gotta do it. We're gonna save that for dog show. We're gonna save that for dog
it's-
show.
it's-
You know what I mean?
It's on the
We gonna-
subject.
We gonna save that for dog
Okay.
show.
Okay.
You know, or afterward we can
The
process it.
after.
You know, I'll break it down with you and we'll process it.
So
But-
what Derek was saying, that works for some people. Let's figure it out. You got some people that's been together forever but never got married.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We understand each other. We've been rocking with each other for that long, and I think it only comes into
Common
play
law.
when you want to buy something together, a house or
Yeah.
whatever. But if you've been rocking that long and y'all understand each other, then
Nothing's
it is
wrong
what
with
it
that,
is.
Yeah.
That's some people natural flow.
Yeah.
Some people can quit a job and get another one tomorrow, and it's like some people can't do that. They like the safety net of being either comfortable or safe, feeling safe.
Yeah.
You know?
And isn't marriage just to some people is a piece of paper? I mean, if you're committed to that person, you're committed to that person. If you're a bond, why do you need the approval of the state or other people? Like this, if this is my woman, this is my woman. So it may not be necessarily a fear of commitment. It's just not adhering to culture sometimes. You know what I mean? Does that take away? What Tasha is commenting in there.
Sometimes we give each other what we want or what we think they need.
Yeah, she said something at the top too,
I
Chris.
agree
What she
with
said?
that.
Yeah.
I think at some point you do have to tell the person what some of your needs and wants are.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you think about that?
It has to be. That's exactly what I said. Like when you get together, there has to be some type of foundation, something in the beginning, and then you could, build on that together.
But then it feels like because if you meet a girl and then she say, well, first of all, I get my slippers at night and then I eat cereal and make sure it's Frosted Flakes, and you're gonna get turned off. You're gonna be, damn, I feel like I'm at work and all that. I think if you just like me and Derek said, if you just work into it, eventually, and just like what Tosh has said, eventually you're gonna tell the person, well, look, this is what I need. I get waffles in the morning and with orange juice.
Or
You're
not
gonna
even
feel
that
But they're
simple.
communicating what they want.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what I want at night. I want me some Frosted Flakes and my slippers. I'm just saying that's what I like.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, so
Something bigger, right?
But I think if you build into it, like if you just
Mhm.
like okay, me and Chris, like we DJs, right? L is a rapper, like just how we fade the music in, or when L fade the lyrics in, you fade everything in, and it'll go real nice and smooth. And then y'all could, of course, y'all gonna have arguments every now and then. What relationship don't have arguments?
yes, but I never had. I think with my wife, I think I had one argument with her, and that was over the DJ for our wedding before we got married. And I've been married 25 years.
Mm.
So I don't,
That's excellent.
I don't like to argue. I like to
So when you guys have disagreements,
exactly.
you're talking
We
it
don't
out,
have
and
arguments.
you're
We
you
have
don't
disagreements.
okay.
Yes, I agree with
You know
that.
what I'm
Let's
saying?
talk it out.
Because
That's
Definitely
very
agree.
healthy.
If you
Yes.
argue, nobody's getting their point across.
Right.
And then
If you're
you know,
arguing, yeah.
Right.
if you educated or uneducated, if somebody walks up, they don't know who's the educated person
Right.
or the uneducated person when you arguing. So
Oh.
Steph, at this point in your life, you said you know, 50, you know.
She don't even look.
Would you get married at this point in your life?
Most definitely.
You would tie the knot.
Oh, most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you feel like that's important to a woman? Like marriage? Like to have that?
I think being married has always been important to me. I just have
Okay.
not found the person that I wanted to enter into matrimony with,
Mm.
right? Yeah. I mean, I've been proposed to, but I never got married because it wasn't right.
But
Do
You
you
know?
think you would know? You would just know when it happens? Is there a certain feeling when you meet that
I would
person?
hope
or is-
so. I would hope so.
Mm.
Right.
I mean,
We all have that feeling when you meet somebody, right? That, oh my God, I can see this going somewhere, right?
But
So I would hope so.
it just goes with if you looking for something, you ain't gonna find it. Like I could be looking for my keys and they in my hand the whole time. You know, that's the way I think relationships work. If you looking for a certain, like I know somebody that said that they just want to get married to a doctor or a lawyer, and they keep meeting thugs.
Delusion.
You know?
That's delusion. That's not.
Like,
That's
she's
delusion.
like, I'm not
Right.
getting,
That's
yeah,
not,
you know. She's
that's-
like, I'm not getting married unless I meet the doctor. But she dating the drug dealer up the street.
Well, that's where once again we don't do our work. Like we
Mhm.
laugh, joke, and giggle about a lot of stuff, but our community is hurting.
True.
And this is why we're having these conversations, because most people, and I'm gonna say it, don't know how to be a man or a woman. Why is it that we can watch animal shows, right? And we can break down if an animal lives in a certain part of the world in Asia somewhere, we can dictate its every move almost. Well, it's going to go up this tree today. It needs this nutrient and this, that, and the third. And we can't do it for ourselves. Is that why Christ said, my people will perish from a lack of knowledge? Because they don't know themselves? I think that's what he was saying. You know what I mean? So when, you know, us as human beings, we don't take the time to learn manhood and womanhood. We don't do our work. Most people do not. So it's like, they say the top is lonely because the top is a lot of times filled with people who have done their work and they became masters in their field. There are men out there studying, and I would consider myself to be one of them, studying how to be a master's level, PhD level man. And I can say I put in work. Like, you know, Michelle will tell you I'm watching Dr. Miles Monroe and stuff like that because I didn't have a proper father figure growing up. You know what I mean? So there are things that I just found out in my 40s that I didn't know as a man. You know, and it hurt me a little bit because I'm like, man, I should have knew these things, but I didn't have the proper teaching. So now what I'm doing is going back and learning these things. There are people that don't do it, and you want to give yourself the title of this king or this queen,
But you have to have the desire,
yes.
right, to do that. And you know, a lot of people have been beat down so much, you
But-
know, that they just, you know,
But
need something to spark within them to get to that level where you wanna learn, you wanna do more, you wanna do better.
But to be honest with
That's
you,
not easy.
now not to discredit anything that L is saying, because L, that's an intelligent brother right there. But you don't need all that stuff to know certain things. The streets can teach you. The streets is really the real teacher, to be honest with you. I've been knowing that for many years.
Brother, I teach the streets.
All
So,
right.
you know,
Yes,
I
There you
learn
go.
from the streets, but I go back and teach the streets.
Yeah.
One thing I learned is I can be the first part of the day sitting at a meeting where they're looking at me to give a clinical perspective on a client, and I have a doctor sitting there, a psychiatrist sitting there, a school teacher sitting there, and I'm there giving my clinical perspective as the mental health counselor on a client.
But you know
Then the
what?
next night I can be up with friends who are from the streets, still out there doing their thing. So I'm taking what
Yeah.
I'm learning from these people, the clinical perspective and everything, and
Exactly.
giving it to the street.
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
learned from the street, so I don't fear these doctors or anybody like that, because I've been to a certain place in my life to where I've been at what I would consider rock bottom. So if they don't like my opinion, it is what it is. I know how to get myself back from there. You know what I mean? So what happens is that I take my learning that I learned from the streets and I teach the streets. I'm no longer learning from necessarily from the streets. Now I keep my ear to the streets. You know what I mean? I mingle with people so I can learn different perspectives. But
you know what? And I'm glad that Elle responded like that, because what's going on in your life, it's a deadly mix to these people that's listening to you, because you was a sponge that soaked up a lot of things that you see, and then you taking what they have taught you. I mean, when God created us, God didn't say, okay, you're gonna go to school, get a high school diploma and all this stuff. So you taking everything and you riding with that. And which makes you a deadly person, to be honest with you. Because not only did you take the things from the streets, but you also took the knowledge that they gave you from their perspective. So you actually turned it on them and reteaching them. That's how I look at that.
Yeah.
It's
too.
You should be commended for that.
Yeah.
That's important. That's gonna help. Like what we were talking about before. Like, how do we break the cycle? How do we, get the family back together, right? The community back together.
It's gonna take a lot.
Well, it's back to your word. You gotta have the desire,
right?
Yes,
to do so.
Right.
You gotta have the desire to do so.
Right. We have to have change. Right.
Absolutely.
Can't keep on the way we're keeping on. Right.
Absolutely.
Well, we gotta
have.
Oh, go ahead.
No, but
sorry.
I want to thank Steph for coming on the show today. Round of applause and getting it. I just want to say, and Michelle,
thank you
for chiming in. We wanted to get Michelle on camera. We wanted to get Chris on camera, but we thank you for you guys' perspective from sitting in the room and joining us as a whole. And I just want to say to my queens in the room, when I look at you, and it's called Project Mirror. Because when I look into the mirror, I look not only when I see myself, I see you. And I see my mother, I see my sister, I see my daughter.
Yes.
I see my teacher. I see somebody that I need to teach at the same time and playing both roles. And I just want to give you guys the honor from men as you sitting here, because you guys are going through a lot right now. This is where we have the Me Too movements and things of that nature going on. We're all in the wilderness, as I said before, and trying to figure ourselves out. And women just want to be heard and let you know how powerful we are. And men, we have to be careful, because if you look throughout history, many great men, if you look throughout the Bible, many great men have been taken out by a woman. Taken out by a woman, a scorned woman. You gotta listen. That is your queen.
A woman taught us game.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for a woman, we wouldn't know what we know right now. To be honest with you.
Absolutely.
That's honest truth.
Absolutely. So, any final thoughts? That you would like men?
No, I mean, no final thoughts I just want to say what you guys are doing is great. Like, this is a wonderful platform, and it's very powerful. And I think you guys are doing a really good job. Keep doing it.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed your perspective. It's really good conversation.
Yes, absolutely. Same. All right. So y'all stay tuned for episode 6. Chris and I have a few topics that we want to delve into, but we definitely going to continue on this womanhood, manhood. We would like to get the perspective, as I was stating, from younger women in the game, younger men in the game, and out there doing their thing. And just shout out to everybody that's commenting in and supporting us and watching our growth and our maturity. Atahi Akeem is back on today and said, keep it coming with more videos, y'all. And we definitely will. We have the desire and the passion. Tosh.
Jacqueline Roscoe, we're going to get you on the show because you and Lamont are in the same field, and he wants to bring forth that,
Yeah.
you know.
So my perspective, and you guys got it today, and my cousin knows it, he gets it, is to, you know, as I was stating, the dog, is to bring a certain mental health awareness and clinical perspective to the streets.
Yes, indeed.
To the streets.
You
And
deadly, man.
yeah,
You
that
deadly.
that is the whole perspective of this show. I didn't want to give away that little tidbit before we hit a year or two or something like that. You got to reel people in, but that's the perspective that we need, and then get other people's ideas, because it can be somebody that drives the city bus, you know what I mean, and they're talking to people in the community, the school bus, or a person working in a restaurant or a barbershop. All of these perspectives matter. All of these perspectives matter. You know what I mean? So we thank you guys for joining us today. Closing comments from anybody out there? Michelle, closing comments. Chris?
Jackie Roscoe said, no.
Hmm.
We're going to get you, Jackie.
Hmm.
We're going to get you.
Jacinda, thank you for joining in. She
Yes.
said thank you, and sharing is so caring. Absolutely. Dog, you got any final comments? This your time, dog. Right here.
Introduce your new podcast.
Yeah, that's what it is. I just gave him a whole idea, dog. It's called This Happened to Me.
Well, I just think that you know, we as people in general, black, white, whoever, we just have to respect one another.
Absolutely.
Respect each other. You know, it shouldn't have to take things to happen like George Floyd or other things, or you know, for instance, the situation with the Chinese people.
Mhm.
You know, things like that shouldn't have to happen for us to recognize that something is wrong. You know, home training. I mean, training begins at home. A lot of people left their training home. You see it every day. You know, when they run, they go fast at a red light, and you at the same light with them. You know, I don't understand that.
Yeah, I like to really quick piggyback off what you're saying. Like, I would never consider myself a racist. I'm a realist. So you'll hear us talking from the black perspective up here, but I do truly believe that our white people out there are our brothers and sisters.
They definitely are.
You know, so I love them in a way, no matter what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those are our brothers and sisters. We all have, most of us, 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 nostrils. You know, we can procreate together and things of that nature. Those are our brothers and sisters. It's just we're in a place as black people. They're in a place as white people. You know, we'll talk about that. That's going to come up in that kingdom mentality topic. We may jump on that, Chris, next week and do that. But thank you guys again for joining us. Great show today, guys. Great show today. Yes.